Everything you're about to see starts here, the birthplace of some of the lightest, toughest hopper trailers on the road. In David City, Nebraska, precision isn't a goal, it's the standard. From raw metal to a fully customized build in just 8 weeks. This is how Timpte sets the bar. This is a BulkLoads feature with Timpte trailers.
So we're here at the corporate headquarters in David City.
Yes.
What all happens at this place?
We build hoppers here.
Okay.
Yep, so right here, this is what we build here. It's the only thing we build here.
Okay, and the other trailers are made?
In Lincoln.
Okay.
Yep, they're all made in Lincoln, Nebraska at our LMC.
Okay. I saw like since 1884, like there weren't, like Timpte, there weren't trucks in 1884 and semi-trailers in 1884.
Correct.
But how did like Timpte start in 1884?
So William and August Timpte, and I don't know the whole story, I've read about it a few times, but essentially they started doing wagons and things like that. And then
was that here in this area?
No, that was in Colorado.
Colorado, okay.
That was in Colorado is where it all started. So they started doing wagons and stuff like that, and then they got into making essentially like truck beds and stuff like that. I I know that during the war, they did a lot of equipment for war efforts and stuff like that when we were doing that.
This trailer that we're looking at here, can you just give us kind of the overview of what this is and the specs?
So this is gonna be, first thing is our color. That's gonna be our gunmetal gray.
Yeah.
So we make 4 different colors. We make white, black, gunmetal gray, platinum silver, and then of course we have stainless steel, where guys can line the whole trailer with stainless steel. This is one of our popular colors, the gunmetal gray. We've had this out for quite a few years. It's a pretty popular color. This trailer is obviously a triple axle. This is gonna be a 50-foot, looks like a 66-inch side trailer.
So because this is a triple axle, this is gonna be in a state that allows this, like Nebraska.
Yes, we sell probably more in Nebraska, more triple axles in Nebraska than anywhere else. A lot of these other states are gonna be selling your tandem axles. Then you'll get up to like South Dakota and North Dakota where they'll sell pups. So we actually sell like, the 21 footers and they'll pull behind a 40-foot trailer, pups and panel hitches and things like that. But our kind of bread and butter here is gonna be our triple axles.
I know this from a shipping standpoint that weight is so crucial. Like hauling the max amount and the max legal weight to haul, because truckers that we hire, they're not paid flat rate, they're paid by the bushel or per ton or per hundredweight. How does Timpte view that? But how does Timpte make sure that companies that you guys are making these trailers or carriers can maximize their payload legally?
So obviously we're always looking at ways to be able to save weight, go with lightweight options such as an aluminum upper coupler, such as HP axles, super single tires, things like that. They're going to save you a lot of weight. And then of course we're always working, we have our R&D facility here as well, who basically when we come up with an idea, they go ahead and test that idea, obviously to failure, to see exactly where the breaking point is on these trailers. But like you said, weight is a huge thing, and our hoppers are typically about some of the lightest, spec for spec. Okay. We're typically about some of the lightest ones out there, probably a couple 100 pounds lighter than our competition.
Talk about this map here. What is this showing?
So what this map shows is it shows our factory direct CSCs, or our customer support centers. Orange dot is gonna be any place that we have a legit like Timpte location. And then we've got our dealer locations also. That's gonna be great because we have some. So
how's that broken up? Because I know different trailer manufacturers are different. So you have actually Timpte owned sales locations, but then also dealer owned locations. Can you just explain that for someone that doesn't know?
So certain parts of the state, like if we go to Kansas, we have a Sanders trailer down in Kansas. So if they take care of our customers, the big things with our dealers, obviously to be able to sell our equipment, you need to be able to take care of our customers. You need to be able to stock our parts and service the trailers. That's the biggest thing, because again, I think our biggest advantage in this industry is our aftermarket, our customer support. We don't just sell you a trailer and lose your phone number. We build relationships with these guys, and these guys are coming to our locations. We always say that the salesman, they'll sell that first trailer, but our service and our customer support, that's what keeps guys coming back over and over again.
These trailers they're all stacked here, what are we looking at here? These
are all sold components, sold trailers.
So something somebody ordered, or?
Something somebody ordered, yeah. We very rarely build stock. We will typically build everything just to order. A lot of these trailers, as you look at them, they're fully customizable. So very rarely do you get trailers that are identical or very close. I mean, everything's pretty unique with what guys will do.
I mean, I can tell so many different.
Different colors of, you know, tarp options, rear panels, tarp arm colors. There's a whole lot of different options. So
I remember, you know, everybody was backed up in COVID with wait times and all that. I can't remember what it was, but I knew Timpte, like there was, somebody was like, it was like a year.
It's about a year.
So
yeah.
what is it now if someone wants to order a trailer, placing an order till having it ready to go?
Right now we're about 8 weeks. From the time you order to the time it's rolling off the line there, it's about 8 weeks.
I remember 2005, you could buy a brand new Timpte trailer for 20,000 bucks.
Yeah, probably close.
Today, just what I'm hearing, and I know there's different specs and all that, but like brand new trailer today, 60, 70?
Yeah, you're going to be right in that 50 range on your basic farm 42-foot tandem.
So these in last 20 years have more than doubled in price?
In the last 20, probably, yeah. I remember you could buy a 4266 Airride Ag Offer with 4 aluminums and a power tarp for like $34,000, you know, back in 2012-ish, somewhere in there. And it kind of stayed the same for a long time. And then we all know what happened, and suppliers came and started hitting you with price increases on parts and stuff during, you know, COVID times and that. But, and it just, they stood there, you know. It's not that Timpte raised the price that much. It's the purchase parts to build the trailers raised their prices that much. So we've done a really good job. Our supply chain team has done a nice job on trying to keep those costs down as much as we can for our customers, you know. And you know, you just kind of do what you can.
Yeah. You go in this way.
We'll go this way.
Doug, thank you so much.
You bet. Thank
hopefully, you. Hopefully we'll see you guys at the conference. If you can make it, man, we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
So first week of January, it's 7th through the 9th in Branson. Hey guys, we are well underway planning for the Bulk Freight Conference. It's scheduled for January 7th through the 9th, 2026 in Branson, Missouri. We're gonna have it again at the same place we did last year in Branson. It was a great event. We had over 700 attendees this next year. We think we are gonna double that. Make sure and go to the BulkFreightConference.com. Get your tickets scheduled. We're gonna have a lineup of keynote speakers, guest panelists, wide range of topics. We're gonna have entertainment, all your meals covered. Man, go to BulkFreightConference.com and get your tickets scheduled now. God bless.
Eric Shear,
Jared Flynn.
Director of Manufacturing.
Yeah.
Jeff Dinkelman.
Jeff, good to meet you.
Jeremy Schmoka.
Okay, Jeremy. Yeah.
So we'll be walking you guys around out on the factory floor and get you out there and see how we build some semi-trailers. Ready to go?
Yep.
All right, so this is semi-trailer production. We've got a little over 200 people working direct production. We've got another 30 in support roles, ranging from quality, material handling, maintenance, all of the support staff for the production team. Currently building upwards of 20 trailers a day. Kind of flexes with the market, but we continue to stay busy and efficient with what we're doing. So we're gonna start, we'll kind of walk around this side first and kind of talk about a little bit of our fabrication area, some of the cellular work, and then we'll come around and we'll start seeing how some of the trailer goes together. So one thing you see about Timpte is we love to stay flexible. So whether it's insourcing, outsourcing, if there's an opportunity for us to continue to build parts of our trailer in-house and control our own destiny, we'll absolutely do that. On the left side, we've got our bake oven. We're working our way towards the front of the paint line.
The bake oven is for what's happening?
Oven. So anything we're painting, the bogies, the couplers, any of our steel parts, anything that's getting painted is going through the conveyor system of the bake oven. You'll also see this blue film on here. That's something that's relatively new this year. We've been getting a lot of customer feedback on the cosmetics and the visual of the rear of the trailer. So these are our rear frame posts, and that's an area highly visible that we get scuffed up just during the build process. Now we've got this coming in with a protective film on it, so it protects it through the build process. We peel it down at the end and it keeps that, the grain and everything straight from the extruder. Before it hits our paint booth, we've got our wash system set up here. It'll come through the wash and the heat oven. We'll blow any of the excess water off, and then over here we've got our paint booth with guys on both sides that'll paint stuff from both sides as it goes through and into the
So what
oven.
are we looking at right there? What is that?
That's a triaxle bogey.
When you say bogey, what is that?
The subframe of the trailer.
Okay.
Yep.
Are all the parts trucked in here? Is there a rail here?
Everything we do is trucked in.
Everything comes in here by truck.
Yeah. So the bogey area we've got right here. Jeremy, you want to talk about the bogey area? Kind of explain the process here?
It all starts on this end of the area. There's three different sections over here that do 3 separate jobs that come together in the fixtures over here. A lot of hand welding's involved in this area, which we look to automate at some point. We just had a couple guys go to FabTech to look at some robots and stuff like that we might be able to use here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I said, everything you see here is basically welded by hand. This is also one of our most senior areas. We have people here that have been here 30 plus years, almost 40 years, a few 40-year guys. So they're really hard workers, great attendance, great people.
We've got 3 major sub-assembly areas when it comes to the trailer. So the bogey, the subframe of the trailer, and we'll see a little bit more about the assembly down there. The walls are the next major component. And this, from one end of the factory, go down there where the walls start. I mean, really, for all intents and purposes, this is the most linear flow we have from end to end, the entire plant. Walls get started down here on sheet and post assemblies. 1 row of rivets put in at a time. It'll get conveyed over right down to our rail table where we're attaching the lower rail and the top rail, really marrying those sheet and post assemblies and those rails together. You can see on the other side kind of how that works. So the drill machine will go through and it'll drill on the top and bottom of those rails, and then we'll have guys sitting on the other side of it. You can kind of, you look down, you see them. They've got a G-frame press where they go through and press all these rivets along the entire wall on each side. Once the wall's done over here, it's gonna get lifted up by the crane and moved into the prep rack. So we set the electrical. Ultimately, it'll get laid face down on this lining table right here. They'll pull the liner out, drill it, and then magnet lock the liner to the post. Once the walls are completely done, lining's installed, they'll set them in this rack, and basically these are our in-process compound, our IPK racks, and that's where they're set, knowing that any of those walls, once the lines are ready and they're looking at their schedule, they know their walls are ready to go. We try to use visual cues as much as we can, whether it's colors, whether it's these types of racks, whether it's the same thing with bogies over here. If you look at the bogies on the front of each one, you'll see a number written. So it's the last 3 of the VIN. This one's red, that one's green. That designates which line it goes to. So even when the guys on the line are coming over, they know that if they're coming from line A, they're looking for a red number. And it kind of limits how long it takes to pick through the several bogies they might be looking for. So this is station 2. What they do in station 2 is really, that's where the bulk of the trailer gets built. So in station 1, we're taking the walls, we're taking the slopes, we're taking the rear frame, and we're building that shell. Ultimately, when it gets to station 2, they've got to go get the tub, which we'll go visit next. They got to get the bogey, which you just saw. They've got to lift that shell up and over, and they've got to set everything so it's straight. Everything's got to be lined up. Rails got to look good. Everything has to be set square. And then once they get that tacked together, they'll bring the nose over. So for all intents and purposes, this is where the trailer goes together. There's not a ton of guys doing it. There's probably 3 in the back here, another 3 installing the nose. But as far as line assembly goes, this is where the bulk of the trailer is built. So we're gonna head over here to tubs. This is the last major sub-assembly we haven't talked about. We call them tubs, but it's the hopper of the trailer. So this is the belly. It starts way back over on the other side over there with rails. We process the rails again. We're trying to work to get as much of that drilling out as we can. So we still have some opportunities there, but we'll load the rails in a fixture, set the cross beams, weld everything up, and then we've got a setup and rivet crew that comes through and sets the sub panels, marries that whole thing up. Once that's done, it gets craned over, and you can see these tubs that are up in the air over here. That's where they'll work on the other side. They'll set the wipers, caulk everything. We call it tub floors. That's where they do tub floors. Once it gets dropped down on these parts, it comes across, we weld on the landing gear, which we have prepped ready to go. We do the wiring, set the tie plates, a lot of the work, airlines, all of that's done over here. And again, these are ready to go to the line. So we'll have bins and all of that stuff. Not unlike before with the bogies where we had the colors. You can see on the back side of these, we've got a red folder over here, a blue folder. So that's the visual that the team knows. Hey, if I'm coming over from line A, I'm looking for a red folder, and all my paperwork and quality sheets are in there. So this is our tub panel processing area. We've got a Whitney plasma, which ultimately is going to cut the bulk of our tub panels. We've got an Amada laser that'll cut a lot of our stock panels, but this will cut some of the bigger and more specialized stuff. And ultimately, we've got a robot down here, which will pick up each panel and run it through forming. That's something we used to have to do on these types of presses. We'd have a couple of guys doing that, just manhandling these panels all day, forming as much as we can, sealing those centers. And this is a really labor-intensive area until a couple of years ago we got that robot. Just trying to lift, once you're doing those forms, lifting that entire panel up, you started to see some back strains. And again, just trying to take care of our team members, that was a high priority for us. So we got that robot, I want to say at the start of 2023.
I hate to know how much that thing costs. A lot.
Yeah.
So what is it doing right now?
It's just changing the grippers. Different grippers for different size panels. Obviously, some of these are smaller, some are larger.
What do you do when you have a robot like this, but people are worried about their job getting taken away?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I think we've built, we're one of the best employers in the area, and we stand by that. We've really tried to go above and beyond some of the things we do to send that message to the communities around the area. And even when we do stuff like this, like we're talking to the operators, before it ever becomes this, it's the conversation with the operators about what's painful, what's difficult to do that should be easier. So even these kinds of ideas are coming from the same people you're trying to help, and ultimately reassigning on the factory. We have zero interest in making things more efficient to get rid of people. We want to assemble trailers, and we want to do that in the most efficient way possible, and that means we need people out assembling trailers. All it does is relocate them from fabrication to a different assembly department, and they know that. We'll go through here, and then we'll kind of work our way back to the line. So all the slopes for the trailer are built right up over here. We set them on these carts again, red, blue, and green, so you know which cart you're going to be grabbing, which line it goes to. Dividers, everything, all that's built over here, and then we've got our rear frame area. So we'll work on welding the rear frame back there. We've got some pre-assembly. They'll do the final assembly on this table, and then they'll hang them up, ready to go. Again, hooks. Everything is good. Trap frames. So the bottom part of the tub getting welded up, set over here. Extrusion's all ready to go for different sizes. We've got the weld fixtures set up. Ultimately, they'll go over there and they'll get prepped for bearings put on, everything like that. And then those will get taken directly over to the fixtures before we set the tub panels. Got some more extrusion processing, just a double-headed saw, so no milling, no drilling over here. That's why getting that 5-axis machine was so important for relieving some of that, but still, the saw stays pretty busy. Here we'll stage tires for the lines. So material handling knows the schedule for the tires coming in. They'll come in here and get set on these blue racks, and they'll get staged accordingly, and ultimately when they get down there, they'll tip them. And they'll tip on their sides, ready to go, so then we just load them over right next to line side. You can see those tires all ready to go for upcoming trailers. This will be kind of the last stop on our tour, but this is where we build the rough for our roughneck trailers that Jeff was talking about. A lot of them have requirements for roofs. Some do have tarps, and there's different configurations. It's what the customer wants, but yeah, so we start processing the hatch back here, and ultimately they flow towards the fixtures. Skins will get put on, taped off, connected to the trusses underneath, and then we've got the hatch that goes on. Ultimately, you've got a completed roof sitting here on the ground, ready to crane up and set on the next trailer coming down the line.
Wow.
I know Jeff talked about some of the process, but a lot of this down here is final inspection, caulking. We do torquing of the wheels, just a section earlier. Final inspection, branding, air test, and then ultimately gets alignment down here. Once quality gets a sign off, I mean, we've got an independent team looking over this before this trailer gets approved and set out to wash. So it goes from here. We've got the shag truck that'll pick it up, take it straight over to the wash bay. So that kind of finishes our tour. Any other questions you had or anything else you wanted to see?
No, this was great.